exploring dungeons, vanquishing enemies, selling their harvested remains on the open market. Capitalism never felt this good. This is the Moonlighter for Nintendo Switch, right here on the Thirsty Mage. One of the commonalities between the recent wave of indie successes has been their ability to build upon the genres that have not seen innovation in a long while. This is the case for Moonlighter, a new adventure RPG from developer Digital Sun. No collecting rupees from broken jars. The money needed to purchase items and equipment comes from the collecting of resources of fallen enemies that are then sold on the open market. This merchant by day, hero by night game style leans towards its RPG roots, and that provides a satisfyingly steady progression and a wonderful experience. The small village of Rionka has fallen on hard times. A long time ago, a group of dungeons appeared in the land, and the village would grow on the backbone of a network of heroes who would plunder the dungeons and the merchants that would sell their findings. After a time, less heroes would emerge from the ruins, leading the townfolk to block access to the doors to prevent further death. Without the supply of artifacts to support Rionka, most of the residents decided to move on. One individual that remained was Will, owner of the Moonlighter, the last shop left that continues to sell dungeon loot. Even though he's no trained hero, Will has a deep passion to discover a way to open the final dungeon that still remains unexplored, and it's this passion that drives him to continue exploring the forbidden locale. The dungeons that lie just outside of Rionka house 5 doors. Only a single among them remains accessible, while 3 others are boarded up to prevent entry with the key to opening the 5th and final door yet to be discovered. As the only resident willing to brave the danger, gameplay becomes split between dungeon crawling for loot and selling said wares at the Moonlighter the next morning. As your bank account begins to grow, your funds are then used to help rebuild the town, as well as fund subsequent trips back for additional artifacts. The majority of your time is spent exploring the procedurally generated dungeons for new items to sell, consisting of 3 increasingly difficult floors and a final boss. The ultimate goal is to build up enough resources to outfit your character with the equipment they'll need to conquer each dungeon. The combat and exploration style give off a Link to the Past vibe. In a 2D isometric area, you'll travel from room to room clearing out the bad guys and picking up the resources that they'll drop. Some rooms will lock upon entering, requiring all enemies to be defeated in order to move on. Others will remain open and allowing a quick escape if the battle begins to go south fast. Enemies don't respawn while you remain in the dungeon, so you can methodically clear room after room cleaning out the resources. Early on it can feel like combat is oversimplistic. Enemy types have set attacks and behaviors, and figuring out the patterns is key to defeating enemies. However, the further you delve into the dungeon, the more complicated and dangerous the enemies become. Prior to entering a room, you'll be able to equip 2 weapons that can be interchanged during combat. All manners of weapons are available for those with the coin to buy them. Swords, spears, bows and arrows are all available to purchase once the local blacksmith has been hired. With all of the different items and upgrades that can be purchased, each trip to the dungeon feels important, and with the layout changed at each return, the dungeon crawling never becomes stale. What does become frustrating is when a perfectly good, and sometimes long trip into the depths ends with an empty-handed defeat. If Will takes on too much damage, he'll drop all of the items from his bag and either be transported back to the entrance or spit out of the dungeon depending on your choice. Once you've filled your bag to the brim, or if you fear for your continued safety, a pendant can be used to teleport back to the Moonlighter. Or a more expensive portal can be purchased if you prefer to return to that specific position in the current dungeon layout. Once back at the Moonlighter, resources can either be placed in the shop for sale or stored away to be used to create future equipment. The challenge as a merchant is to find the market price for each item that is both fair to the consumer and profitable for the shop. Determining the price is done through trial and error. Patrons will illustrate through emoji what they think of the price. By watching these reactions, you'll be able to adjust the price accordingly and make sure that the Moonlighter is always turning a healthy profit. An internal report tracks these reactions for you, and once the best market price has been discovered, each item will default to that price, eliminating the need to constantly track the pricing. Money earned at the Moonlighter is invested either into the town, your shop, or the items you're carrying, all with the singular goal of improving and collecting the selling process. Different townsfolk can be hired to provide services like weapon crafting, potion brewing, or resource collecting that will make each trip back to the dungeons increasingly more successful. All of the different upgrade options provides a solid payoff, so it never feels like your money is going to waste. Build up enough funds and you can eventually skip that selling process altogether if you prefer to just focus on the dungeons. An upgrade to your shop will allow the hiring of an employee that will take on the role of the merchant, albeit for a cut of the profits. Moonlighter has truly succeeded at creating a new experience in a genre that needed a fresh take. A quick scan of the eShop will uncover a number of different adventure RPG options, but so far none as deep and engaging. For those that have been enjoying the indie renaissance on the Switch, don't pass up this opportunity to spend many hours becoming the hero of Ryonka, as well as the champion of capitalism. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the review, please like and subscribe below. You can also check out our website, www.thethirstymage.com, or you can follow us on Twitter under the handle TheThirstyMage.